What's up, Cowboy Nation? Really appreciate you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. The expectations. We always talk about when expectations meets reality. The reality of it is that Robert Quinn is better than Randy Gregory. The reality is that also when you add in somebody like a Robert Quinn to this particular defense, he's going to help out tremendously. Now, I know a lot of people saying that, hey, Robert Quinn seems as if though he fell off, but you got to ask yourself this right here, Cowboy Nation. When Robert Quinn played last year for the Dolphins, who was on the opposite side that was a threat, like a quote-unquote D-Law? Who was on that team like a Jalen Smith? Who was on that team that was like an LVE? So those are things that we have to understand. So my thing is 6.5 sacks last year for Robert Quinn was tremendous because he was the end-all be-all for those people playing in the Dolphins land. I know they had Wake and they had somebody else, but I think Wake got injured or something like that. But think about it. Just think about it. How much benefit that this would be for our team now that you have Robert Quinn. Now you can kick a Crawford back inside, where if you guys look at the film session, you will see that he plays better at 3 opposed to being the edge guy. And then you will rotate Antoine Barbecue Woods, the Kerry Hyders of the world, and as well as the Tristan. And I like for them to bring Tristan a little slower. You don't have to rush him. Can't rush perfection. And I'm looking at it like what he had: 6.5 sacks, 25 solo tackles. As a defensive edge rush, that's not bad. That's not bad, meaning that he's getting into the backfield. And then on top of that, if you add this right here, Cowboy Nation, the guy's a run plug. So he's better against the run. You'll see him shed, disengage, use those long arms and length to get separation. And then the guy got a quick step. And I'm talking about Robert Quinn. So those are good ingredients for a guy to have a spectacular year. Shout out to you, man. Who is this? Captain America. He says Cowboys. Robert Quinn would get 6 to 8 sacks, and that's good. That's all I want him to do, get 6 to 8 sacks. That's all I want. I also want D-Law to get anywhere from 9 to 10 sacks if he can come back week 1. If not, if D-Law can give us 6 to 8 sacks. Remember, it's not about who gets like 15 to 20 sacks. It's all about if the whole entire line gets that work action in. If everybody getting multiple sacks of like 6 and 7 and 8, then that's what you talk. That's what you call a great defensive front. Everybody on that line is having to play up to par, and then you will see the true identity of the High Boys. Now, the previous year for Robert Quinn, he had 6.5 sacks, of course. Then right before that, he had 8 sacks, and then the year before that, he had 4 sacks. That was his lowest total ever. And that was 3 years ago. So I'm thinking that with my mind that he's going to be a whole lot better than what we see out there on film and tape from last year. And just along. So I think what Rob Marinelli, when he put that out there saying that, okay, racing lizards or pretty much getting out to the ball quick off the snap, teams are going to have to take that. Teams going to have to really, just think about it, Cowboy Nation. Teams are going to have to worry about that. They're going to have to say to themselves that now, not only that the cornerbacks are playing close and uptight on the line, they got a pair of bookends that's going to come out there and create pressure. And then if you really think about it, it's going to be like creating a funnel. The best way that I can tell you guys how this team should look like is the New Orleans Saints tape. Look at New Orleans Saints tape when Dallas played against the New Orleans Saints, meaning that the cornerbacks, they played tough, they played tight on the line. They eliminated Michael Thomas. They put so much pressure on Drew Brees that he didn't know which way the pressure was going because they tried to double team D-Law, and Randy Gregory got home several times. And then they called some old phantom crazy call to make the game a little easy on old Drew Brees there. But check it out. That's how we should play every week now if Robert Quinn stay healthy. And then also if we got our linebackers that's flying out chasing to the ball like no other. Man, Um, the only weaknesses, let me talk weaknesses from last year. No one can say that our cornerbacks were weak. No one can say that our safety played weak the entire year. No one can say that our front four played weak. Our problem is that we didn't have enough rotations, meaning that we put in a guy named Reeve, number 51. Y'all remember him? And shout out to my boy Daniel Ross. They threw him out there. He just wasn't suitable enough. And then on top of that, when we started to have those depth issues, those were our major weaknesses. And what we did all off season were to combat that. And that's why we went and got some guys in the draft, and we picked up the Christian Covington and the Kerry Hyder, so we can shore up the weakness part of our defense. Teams are not going to say now, although we can't pass on them, we're going to try to run up the gut. No gut action this year. No gut action at all this year. Quinn is better against the run than Gregory. Yes. Swag. Yes. Who else we have here? Our defensive tackles and safety were questionable versus I'm thinking that's the run, right? The Colts and the Ram run. Yeah, because what if I told you this is not Ripley's Believe It or Not? Dak Prescott, go look it up. Dak Prescott passed and threw better than both of those boys on both of those losses. Look it up. Look it up. Now, although Dak Prescott didn't get a touchdown, but it was more so about our stupidity and Jameis Olawale dropping the ball opposed of us just being lackluster against the Colts. But if you look it up, you will see that the Colts changed the game and they ran the ball, and you will see that Dak Prescott, he outperformed Andrew Luck. He actually threw for more yards and had a better completion percentages and those sorts of things. But that's a story of a different day. And then also, if you can look up the Rams tape, and if you just want to look at the stats, you'll see that Dak Prescott outperformed Jared Goff. But just because a quarterback can outperform you out there on the field doesn't mean that you're going to win the game. They had their philosophy. They ran on us, and we couldn't stop the run. We are one-dimensional as it relates to on the defensive side of the ball. We couldn't force them to get into passing formations, which is where our strong suit right there. So I'm thinking that we shored up all that stuff during this off season. Quinn should get 4 to 6 sacks. I'm on the high end of saying that Quinn is going to be on the 6 to 8 category, not the 4 to 6 category, if that makes any sense, because of the simple fact that our defensive pressure is a whole lot better than what they were, what he played with the I want to say the Dolphins or what have you. So I think that we have more weapons so that it can free him up, force his team to play the little gamble game and say, okay, we're going to one-on-one. Because you can't double team everybody. There's only 5 offensive linemen and 1 running back to chip or a tight end to sit back to chip. And that's better for us. So I don't think that team's going to dedicate a guy on D-Law's side and say, okay, we're going to dedicate a guy on Robert Quinn's side. You got to pick your poison. And that's what makes us so dynamic as it relates to our overall defense. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and the missed field goal against the Colts game. Yeah, missed field goal. Yeah. People, it's funny because what a lot of people would do, even analysts would do, they would say, well, the Colts shut down the Dallas Cowboys. No, the Dallas Cowboys shut themselves down because they made it to the red zone, money zone. They went for a crazy 4th and 2 play. They didn't get it. The Jameis Olawale drop and also a missed field goal. I mean, they got into the situations where they could have scored, and then on top of that, I think that was like the opening drive. So teams play different when you are able to punch them in the mouth early and often. And then on top of that, I have to say this too. When people talk about the Saints and the Cowboys only scored 13 points, people fail to realize we took the knee at the 1. We could have just punched it in. If you want to look cute and get style points, we could have scored at least 20 on them, or we could have scored 19 or what have you. So my thing is, just don't pay too much attention to the final score. Just look at the film and you'll see what really happened throughout the game. Appreciate you said Law spit in the fire. Always appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so I agree, Law. The trade like the Charles Haley in 1992. we needed in 1992. We needed something to change with our defense. Our defense was just it was phenomenal. I think our defense had the reputations that they wasn't doing a lot of things, and I remember, I think it was, oh man, you guys got to help me out. Was it the 1992 or was it 93 that nobody made the Pro Bowl on the defense, and that really made Jimmy Johnson really upset, and he said, okay, they don't want to put us in the Pro Bowl, we'll make it to the Super Bowl, and or something of that nature. And everybody was like, okay, we these underdogs, and everybody discounted the defense, but the defense was so solid back in the days. We talking about Jeff Coat, we talking about Ken Norton, we talking about God dog it me, man, on the opposite side of Charles Haley, we had Tony Tolbert. So we had the other guys that was able to play aggressive on that defensive front. And Chad was out there as well. So we had some guys, man, that was like under the radar that everybody played on and everybody was on the same page. And this is what I'm thinking, that this particular team now is that our defense, although we forced our name into the major media last year with the High Boys and just creating shutdowns of the New Orleans Saints and other teams. But when you really look at it, our defense is being so disrespected all throughout last year. So this year, you guys get ready. So you guys get ready for this defense to be so nasty. You guys get ready for it, man. Yes, appreciate you, man. Thank you all for tuning in. I got to get back. It was just my little break, but I just want to give you guys my thoughts of Robert Quinn. I really think that the guy's going to get those 6 to 7 to 6 to 8 sacks this year, and this defensive front is going to be lights out. That's my expectations. I want to know yours. Post them down below. Let me know. We also live on Facebook. We live on Periscope right now, and we live on YouTube. So hit me up. Follow this page. Follow my content. Let me know how you guys feel, good or bad or indifference about this team heading into the 2019 season. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Salute. I'm out. Peace.